You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Hey, what up, everybody? It's your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast. And today we have an amazing creator. I mean, this homie right here doesn't even just make comics. He's also like a musician, rocking out on that guitar, if you will. I mean, I met this homie several years ago at either the Rhode Island Comic Con, Boston Comic Con. But I mean, homie tours. He's all over the place. That's why I love this homie's energy, man. He has a fantastic project that's on Kickstarter called TODDLER-POCALYPSE. Everybody as a parent probably feels that shit very, right? That's real. TODDLER-POCALYPSE, goddamn, when they're 2 years old and they drove you nuts. Yeah. So, but George is killing it right now. He's an amazing creator, yo. I can't wait. Yo, listen, you ready? Mr. George. Oh, Connor. What up? How you doing?
You didn't lie. That was a good intro. That countdown was going off, and I was feeling all of my WWE, AEW energy going.
I saw you in the background again, pumped up doing that.
Doing some push-ups. Get the buys going.
The 24-inch pythons, brother. Yeah, let's do it, yo. I mean, mine's are probably 14-inch right now. They used to be about 20, but yeah, I lost. I got to get back to the gym, folks. So, yo, my brother, man, I am so happy to have you on. I'm so glad you're doing well here today. Yo, like I said, I've met you in person. I've seen you kicking ass at tables, at cons. Like, you're not that person that sits behind the table. You stand in front of that. Like, yo, everybody come here, check this out. And that's the energy that I love from independent creators, because that shows to me that you really believe in what you're doing. It's like, yo, come on over, folks. Let me talk to you for a minute. Man, like a New York pit hustler is like, yo, looking for every quarter. I got something for you. Hey.
That's a wonderful compliment. Yeah, man. Like when you're at these shows, if somebody comes by, I mean, one, if they're going to take the time to look at my stuff, I appreciate it. We did meet at Fan Expo Boston Comic Con. You got thousands of square feet of stuff that you could look at and spend your time at. So, if you're going to swing by and check out my stuff and something grabs your eye, I want to welcome you. And if you want to learn more about it, I love these things. Do
you?
At this level, you can't, you've got to love what you do, because kind of like the process and the journey and that final thing you hold in your hand is the only thing that you have control over. If something bigger comes from it, that's wonderful, but that's also kind of out of your hands. So you love this stuff, and if it and you hope it connects with somebody else out there. So somebody hears about a premise, sees a cover, and they want to learn more. Like, I want to tell them everything about it. And also, I've been on the other side of the table. I have stopped at somebody's table and I've appreciated the great experiences I've had. I have remembered the not so great experiences. And, whether someone spends 30 seconds or 5 minutes at my table, I want them walking away feeling good.
Oh, we spent more than 5 minutes, that's for sure.
We did.
Because, we were vibing, bro. Because, it's again, bro, like just some Ranko says, and I love repeating this. I don't give a shit, folks. I know you probably get tired of it. Psychomagnetism, it's the real thing. Yeah, we should write a book about this. Yo, Jim, write a book about psychomagnetism, please. You taught me this, and it's like, yo, that shit is so real. Like, when you connect with people, we do talk. So, let folks know, Big George, yo, where you coming from? Where you originally born and raised at?
Born, and I now live just outside of Boston. I've lived here all my life, except for 2 years that I was out in LA for the first 2 years of college.
You did an LA thing for college? What college? What LA college?
Occidental College, which was technically in Eagle Rock, but 10, 15 minutes away from, LA and the Strip and all of that.
So LA, screw it. I know. It's like a lot of people on the border of Brooklyn. All of a sudden, they Brooklyn. When you're from Queens, stop lying. You know where you from.
It's like I enjoyed my 2 years there, and looking back, I really wish I kind of like took advantage of it more. I think when you're in the middle of it, you're like, oh, I'm gonna be here. Like it's always gonna be here, But it was 2 years. Like I said, I loved it. Loved the weather. Despite being here all my life, I have never acclimated to the winter.
You and me both, brother. That's why in Florida, even as much as I love the cold, though, I do love the cold, though. I'll tell you that. But here now, I'm in Florida. It's like, wow, a snowless Christmas that's hot. I mean, it's so weird. Growing up in the north, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
I'm at the point where like I can't wait for that. I can't wait to enjoy Christmas in my shorts.
Oh shit. Yo, bro, the first time you do it, trust you me, you're gonna be like, all right. As much as I anticipated, this shit is goddamn weird.
Oh yeah, my Zillow porn is like all like Georgia and San Diego and
oh my God.
Mexico and all this stuff.
Zillow porn, I love it. Oh my God, bro. You just created a new hashtag. Cause ain't that the truth, man? The fantasy apartments that we all wish we had. Mm-hmm. I wish I could afford that damn rent. Not as a creator, we can right now. God, if that's the truth. So let's start talking about your early origins into pop culture. I need to know, how did you get introduced? Was it someone? Was it just yourself? What happened here?
No, I give credit to my older brother and sister. They are 9 and 8 years older than me. Okay. So, when I'm starting to come around, 8, 9, 10, starting to have a personality, they're in high school. And so they're, so at an earlier age, being introduced to Monty Python, Saturday Night Live was in their vernacular, so it was in mine. And again, being 9 and 8 years older, they were gods and goddesses.
Yeah, they were putting you on the shit that you should not be watching. The same thing. Yeah. I am that much of an age difference between my middle and younger brother.
Gotcha,
baby brother. Yeah. So it's I was the big sibling, putting them onto these nightmares that they always tell me, Al, thank you so much.
Yeah. So, at that, and I give all the credit to my older brother who was into comics at the time. And so, again, myself and my younger brother, who's a year and a half under me, we were following him. And, every Saturday he was going to New England Comics up here. And, mom and dad were like, take your brothers, whether he wanted to or not. He was taking his brothers to the comic book store.
Sis, you were like forced tag-alongs, but you were just digging the culture.
But like, even looking back, like the geek DNA was in me, whether or not I
hear that,
understood it or knew where to direct it. It was in me because, for a handful of years, basically until my brother moved out to college in California, and all of a sudden mom and dad had no interest in bringing these, boys to the comic book store. For whatever that run that was, 2 or 3 years. I was fine. That's when the Claremont X-Men was my thing. My Nightcrawler, Colossus, Wolverine, Rogue, Storm. That's my team.
Oh, brother, brother. Yeah, me too, man. We're the same age group. I think that's for sure.
I didn't want to say anything, but guessing by the hair color, I had a feeling.
Look at his beard. I mean, the top doesn't match because look at that. That's nice and dark still, but goddamn, then my beard got fucked up.
I had to accept that salt and pepper was no longer my hair color a few years ago, and that we basically
just push it, right?
we're just full salt. The full Irish DNA kicked right in with that one.
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican, you're Irish, and you're basically, Puerto Ricans and Irish are basically going on the same, but especially when it comes to New York, like we've been through the same journey. Yeah. So, what I mean? Yes. That's what
just
I'm saying. Mothers from another brother.
Yeah. So, so whatever that run was, 2, 3, 4 years of trailing my brother, into comics, that was absolutely a thing. When he moved out, kind of moved away. But again, that geek DNA. So I was always keeping an eye over there. Even if I wasn't going there every week. Along the way, met some high school friends who were very much into metal. This is, again, dating it all. This is late 80s, so this is the big four. This is Megadeth, Anthrax, Metallica, and Slayer. They're on the rise up, and these guys introduced me to them. And I all credit to Metallica's Ride the Lightning, the album and the song. Hearing the intro to Ride the Lightning, I have to give it credit, absolutely changed my life. And that's when the metal guy started to form. And for a bunch of years, I was talking about it, maybe wanting to play guitar, this, that, and the other thing. And my mom was like, "Do you want to learn?" And I would, flight, fright, freeze, whatever. I was like, "Oh, no. And then she had just, heard me talk about it enough, and she was tired of me being wishy-washy. And one day she's like, "Get in the car." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Get in the car." And, she drove me to a music shop. And right there, she set me up with rental guitar and guitar lessons and an amp.
Oh, wow.
And,
it's such a beautiful thing when your family supports you on that level, son, bro. You're making me feel emo here. I mean, that type of support is so amazing, my brother.
And knows what you need, even if you don't or aren't willing to do it.
Yeah.
And over the years, one of the neat things, learning more and more about my mom is the artist in her. There are pictures around our house that have, and they've been in the same house for like close to 40 years at this point. So you kind of get numb to everything on the walls. And then one day, like a couple years ago, she points to a couple things, was like, "I drew those." And they were gorgeous. They have always been gorgeous. But I assumed they were just from some artist that she liked. And now to say, like, wait, my mom drew those.
Hey, wait a minute. I love this shit all my life. Are you telling me you did this?
Yeah.
I need your autograph, Mom. Hold on. Draw me and everybody, Colossus.
Yeah. And it makes so much sense when you look back, again, over 40 plus years of like, oh, that's why she did what she did. Because she was an artist who it was the time frame. Again, if we're about the same age, our parents are about the same age. When you become a mom, you're a mom. Yeah. That's your lane.
Yeah.
Anything else, non-mom stuff gets, you're supposed to put it off to the side. Yeah. So when she saw me,
that sucks for moms, and I'm glad that now ladies nowadays are realizing that once your kids are growing up, but not even when they're growing up, you can still do this. Believe me. And you got my support. Yo, listen, I'm like I told you earlier, I'm a girl daddy. You know what I mean? I have a beautiful wife, and I have a very supportive mom and mom-in-law, and I have very strong female figures in my life that I support 100 because they give me that, back like tenfold, and people don't, understand what they do for you. I mean, damn, you're at a total loss. Then you wake up, guys. Wake up, guys.
I mean, so this kind of unpacks a couple things, so we might hit a couple side quests right off the bat. But welcome to an interview with me. Two things with that is like, first of all, like we are who we are, and on to be overly dramatic on a romantic soul level, there are things we want to do and things we want to get out of this life, and they're just things that we are. Like, I am a creator. It is what it is, and until my hands fall off, I will probably be making things, even if it's just for me. So the idea to then tell somebody that thing that fills that part of your soul is no longer convenient, and you can't do that anymore. Fuck no. You know,
or rather, F you.
like I'm not gonna do that.
You're gonna talk to me like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cut that part of myself off, and there's no way I would ask somebody else to cut that part of themselves off. You're talking about hopefully, we were talking about women specifically, but hopefully, as the generations go on, the importance of being a full person, as whether that's
a human being, regardless of who you are.
Yeah, regardless of who
how you identify as.
Yeah.
And I feel that I always say that, I always say that, even though I say this jokingly, but it's gonna take until aliens come for all of a sudden all us earthlings to identify as such. Oh, listen, no matter what color we're earthlings when the aliens come, because if they are different than us, holy shit, would that change the game, right?
I hope so. We've talked enough that we know that we jive on a bunch of stuff. What a world that would be, right? Yeah. If we just you don't have to love what everybody else has loved, but you can just let them love it.
Yeah.
Right? If nobody's getting,
that's what Comic Crusaders is about. Love what you love, but we're not going to be here to bash anything,
If you're not hurt,
we're not going to talk about what we hate. That's not our place here. If we don't like it, if you don't see us talking about it, DM us. We'll share maybe why we don't, do it, but because we don't want to bash anything publicly. It's like that's all it is,
And over the last couple years, last 6 years specifically, like really over these last 2 years, I've been trying to be so cognizant of what I put into the universe. So
energy is real.
We need. I want to see more positivity in this world there, and I can only control one person. So I'm going to try and put as much of that honest positivity into the world. That I want it to be supportive, of the artist who's got 1 million followers and the artist who's got 5 followers.
Yeah,
those are my people. I can smell other creators and artists, and I'm like, you're my people, and I want to see it elevated, but also that is where I get my positivity. That's where I get my joy and my inspiration. So I just want to see more of that out there selfishly, but then also I think that's a better world.
I hear you. I understand this shit 100, man.
No.
So let's start talking about you maybe finding a tribe. So you're growing up. Yeah. You were growing up. Did you find the tribe easily? People who were like-minded.
I did. I was one of the theater kids at high school.
Another theater kid. Look at this. Yeah. I've been talking to mad theater people that like, I did theater. Like, damn, what's going on?
Yeah, I will also say I'm very lucky that I went through high school fine. I did play sports and I got along with the jocks fine. I was good enough on the academic side. And then I had, the other creators and artists. Okay. And started building the sets, and then slowly it's like, well, I want to be on the set. Much like the whole guitar and music thing. Like I saw it and I wanted it. I just maybe didn't have the confidence to go for it. So it took a little while for that fuel to build up. And then in high school started my first band. And that, and then I kind of had 2 tribes. I had one Monday to Friday, and then from Friday night to Sunday, I had my musician friend. And it just, I loved it. I loved it, and I've just kind of realized over the years, again, stuff you wish you could verbalize 30 years ago. But like, I'm a collaborator by nature. I love kicking around ideas with other creative people, the energy, seeing the seed of an idea get tossed around and somebody adds a little bit and now it's bigger, and somebody adds, you know, a little bit from their thoughts and their experience, and it just grows into this thing that is exponentially bigger than what you thought it could be, but it's also better, you know. And I always kind of like talk about the moment where I'm like, well, all right, now I'm going to get really upset if this thing never sees the light of day. Like it's fun until there's a point of like, well, now this has to happen.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I still do everything that I do, that there's still like an 8-year-old in me that like gets very excited to try something and wants to run up to people and go, look what I made. You know, that kid is still very much alive in the no longer salt and pepper hair.
So talk about stepping into the creative journey, man. When did that happen? When did you say, I'm stepping in, I want to do something?
So, I mean, that would start in high school. You know, the dream was, you know, the rock and roll mansion. But, you know, if you know your musical history, being a metal band in the early 90s is not the best career move. But, you know, I've been playing, you know, pretty consistently since I was 16. And what you got, Swarm of Eyes is the band that I'm in now. You know, if I do the math real quick, it's probably the 5th or 6th like real band that I've been a part of since I started playing. And we started, like I said, 10, 11 years ago. You know, at an age where you're like, okay, like the rock and roll mansion is not gonna come over the horizon, but I still love playing. I love creating. I love being in a room with other talented, in this case, musicians, and seeing what happens. And this is the longest running band I've been in, and I think it absolutely has to do with the fact that on day one, when we all got together for the first rehearsal, we said, like I said, there's no rock and roll mansion at the end of this journey. There's probably no money at the end of this journey. If this isn't fun, it's not worth doing.
Oh,
because that's all we got.
Yeah.
We have the time, and also, you know, being an adult, you know, at the time, the drummer had kids. He still does have kids. And my son was just about to be born.
Okay.
But as an adult, you've got the 9 to 5 on top of whatever else life has dealt you that you have to deal with on, you know, on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. So if we're going to put our time and energy into this thing that is not going to, like, it's not going to financially return anything. It's got to be for the joy of the camaraderie and the joy of creating and playing. And so I think laying that out on day one took so much of the old bullshit off the table, right? Like there was never a question about, hey, I really think Steve isn't pulling his weight. Do you think it's time to get a new bass player? Like that's never been a question. Yeah. This has been, you know, 4 adults who have been through all of this. Like we were all in other bands in the early and mid 90s. We played together in our other bands, so we knew each other. And we, like I said, we were all on the, and then we're going to get, you know, and then we're going to go on tour with Metallica. Yeah. So we knew what it was and what it wasn't. And we had a very honest conversation about where we were, you know, and we were adults who still wanted to play and create music. And I am thrilled that 11 years into it, we still enjoy each other's company. We still love getting together and playing live. I am very willing and cocky to say we are very fucking good at what we do. I have more insanely proud gigs than, I don't know if you saw that with this band. We took the pandemic and the shutdown as an opportunity to create new music, which is great. You know, I think over the years, I hope I have become a better collaborator. So it's been so much fun to, again, take the idea of a song and throw it out to the rest of the guys versus like, the old school, it would be here. I wrote the entire song. This is everybody's parts. Play it. It's not as much fun for everybody else. And you miss out on so much, it's always easy for me to go to our bass player because he is so goddamn talented and like just a unique player. I could never do what Jeff does on bass. I could never look at a song and think the way he does about his instrument and how to make it work in a song. We wouldn't be who we are if I told Jeff what to play.
Gotcha.
And that goes for everybody else. Which, again, side questing and tying all this stuff together. But for me, it does tie it together. Being a musician, being a creative writer, and my day job is an advertising copywriter. All of these three creative outlets have all made each other better. Working on comics and realizing how collaborative it is and how the best results are always, the writer might start with the idea, but the real power and beauty of this collaborative comics relationship is when I go like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Here are the guardrails. However you get to the target is, do it. Make it you. Infuse it with your idea, your background, your insights, your personality, your talent. I'll let you know if you're a little left or a little right. But however you get there, get there. And those collaborations have always turned back stuff where, the artist will send me something. I'm like, I never would have thought of doing it that way. But clearly that's got to be the way to do it. Right? Like you probably can't see it on the webcam, but just even talking about this stuff, the hair's going up on my arms.
Yeah.
That for me, that's always when I know I'm on a good round. Like if somebody says something or an idea pops in the head and the hair goes up, I'm like, oh, hold on, we got to follow this. So learning how to be a better comic book creator made me a better band member because I truly understood the power of asking somebody, hey, I'm looking for something like this. You do you. And I get what I want. They get to be creative, and the end result is always better than what I originally thought. And that's just from learning from each of these little disciplines and then remembering them and bringing them to whatever I'm doing next.
Gotcha. So let's talk about this comic book now.
Yeah.
Because you got this amazing little project out. And before we even talk about it, let me just show this trailer that you have out on this Kickstarter, and we're going to jump into this whole conversation about this amazing project. Let's do it.
Hey, I'm George.
I'm Diana.
And we have a question for you.
What's the worst part of trying to survive the apocalypse?
Is it the zombies?
The aliens?
The killer robots? It's your kids!
100% your kids.
TODDLER-POCALYPSE is a 6-story, 64-page graphic novel that takes all your favorite apocalyptic tropes and illustrates how having your kids with you would make everything so much harder.
Bringing these stories to life is an amazing, talented group of artists. Alex Cormack, Kath Lobo, Clay McCormick, Jordi Perez, Fernando Pinto, and Jay Sheik, with apocalypse-prepped lettering by Justin Birch and cataclysmic colors by Leslie Atlansky, Andrew Crossley, Matthew Nickerson, and Ellie Wright.
To survive the toddler-apocalypse, you're gonna need the right supplies.
Luckily, we can help you fill your bug-out bag with a digital copy of the book,
a physical copy of the graphic novel with cover by Alex Cormack,
a movie-inspired print by Fernando Pinto,
a soft enamel pin featuring our new alien overlords, the Gamonites,
a special hardcover version featuring cover art by Joe Mulvey.
Plus, you'll have a chance to check out some of our other non-apocalyptic creations too.
So whether you're a sci-fi fan,
a parent,
a prepper,
or a mix of all three,
we invite you to join our survival group.
The toddler-apocalypse is here.
Are you ready?
No, you're not.
You're not ready.
Because
oh
the
my
kids,
God.
they're not going to listen.
Did you
they're always
going
to
be
outside
snacks?
the house.
You
You
know
said
you
stay
need,
in
like,
outside, but now they're outside the
they're
house.
Gonna eat
You
them
say
all.
don't touch the
and
zombie,
you
and they're like,
secretly
I'm
want
going to
some
touch
of
the
those
zombie.
fruit snacks
Why?
late at
Why are
night.
they
You're
fighting
sneaking in
about
there.
everything?
You're eating them.
These damn kids will drive anyone crazy. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yo, talk about it, yo. What is TODDLER-POCALYPSE? Oh my God, yo. Talk about your teammate here. What's going on?
So, co-writer and co-creator of this, and the person that brought this idea to me, her name is Diana Porter. We've known each other for close to 20 plus years at this point. been friends. And while I've been doing the music and comics thing, she is been working her ass off in the Boston and New York acting scene. And she had this idea, of basically TODDLER-POCALYPSE, the fact that, like all these like well-behaved kids in the apocalypse is BS. That, the kid is not going to leave the zombie guts alone. The kid is not going to be quiet when the robot apocalypse is hunting for you and all this stuff. And she gave me
cry most to make sure you get killed. Like,
yeah,
right, you know what? I don't like you.
Yeah, they have their own, and especially the younger they are, before the synapses have connected, where it's all just it's all just what they want in the moment that they want it. And just yeah, and when she threw out the idea and pitched the idea, like I said, within like a sentence, I was like, oh yeah, that 100% makes sense. That hits the sci-fi geek, that hits the spoof part, that hits the parental nodding of total agreement and that of just that you just know, you get it and you understand. At the time that she pitched it, the idea was, well, maybe we could do a web series. And we kind of realized, to do it the right way, we just flat out did not have the funds or access to make the stuff look right. Like, if you're going to spoof, Day After Tomorrow or, Walking Dead, like, you need to be able to like get to a certain aesthetic level.
Yeah.
And we just kind of knew we couldn't. So, we sat on it for a while, but it always lived in the back of my head, because like a good idea is a good idea. And kind of, we were talking about earlier, when you're going to spend your time and your money on something, it's got to be something that like you have to do. And that it just kept going. It just lived in the back of my head. And along the way, my comics journey kept going. And the deeper I went, the more artists I discovered, just, fantastic people that every time they would post something, like, oh God, I'd really love to work with them. And then the idea, and then finally my brain put everything together. I was like, well, wait, if we turn this into an anthology, we could tell our story. We could, if we find the right artists, it will hit that proper aesthetic that we need to make it work. And very selfishly, I'd be able to work with a bunch of artists I've always wanted to work with in a situation that's a lot easier to pitch. It's a lot easier to say, hey, here's an 8-page story versus, hey, I've got an 80-page graphic novel.
Oh my God, are you serious? I know, I hear you. Right?
Yeah. And the people I wanted to work with were working professionals. I wanted to work with these people that were inspiring me. And so, like I said, to make it doable, you've got to make it doable. And, so like I said, 8 pages, people could fit that into their schedule relatively easy, relatively quickly. I know some artists might be watching this and shooting daggers at me. I understand the artist job is 5 times harder than the writers. And when I pitched the idea to Diana and I showed her kind of like, look, these are some of the people I would love to pitch this idea to, she got it and she trusted me and she kind of let me take her baby and bring it, into this other medium. Okay. And then, just long story long, we found, we got 6 amazing artists to be a part of this. And again, these are people with IDW credits, with Dark Horse credits, with Image credits, all this stuff, that they brought it, they took this as seriously as they took, like I said, that Image project. And what was great about it is, again, learning the less is more. Like, here's the story, here's the layout, here are the beats. Do your thing. We will put the words on afterwards. You tell your story, and then we'll figure out how to not get in your way. And so everybody went off and did their own thing. But when you lay these 6 stories together, it all still looks like one unit, which again was absolutely amazing. What you're seeing right now is kind of the story that we're giving away for free. We're showing everybody. This is Alex Cormick, who has done stuff for IDW and Dark Horse. This is our story. It's called Stop Touching Me. We're riffing on the whole aliens come in to destroy the world.
He needs to stop touching his nose. Jeez, the aliens are coming. Why are you picking your boogers out? Relax, guys.
And it's the story of every parent just needing their kid to do one thing. Just please listen to me and do this one thing.
You are asking for the impossible.
Exactly. And we're just elevating it and wrapping it around. If you just do this one thing, the aliens won't kill us. Can you please do this one thing? And the answer, if you have a kid, is no. They will follow the rules for 15 seconds, and then instinct takes over.
Us Latinos, what that means is that those kids are probably going to get the chancla to them.
I also want to call out that Justin Birch is our letterer who's done everything with everybody. He has lettered the entire book.
Familiar name, yeah.
And again, speaking of like elevating, what was great is once Justin got the words and started doing his thing, all the jokes became funnier, all the beats became funnier. All our little heartfelt moments became heartier. Just because, again, when you get talent, you get out of their way and just let them do their thing, because it's gonna be gorgeous. That's why you work with them. That's why you want to work with them. And so, like I said, this was the first story we put out there, just so everybody can go, oh, okay, this is what they're doing.
Gotcha. And gorgeous art,
yeah. So going through, it's we're on top is Kath Lobo. Underneath that is Clay McCormick.
I suppose the Kath Lobo before too. Hey.
Nice. Jay Sheik is on the bottom right now.
Look at that. Look at this.
Jordi Perez.
Damn.
And then Fernando Pinto.
Damn, brother, how the hell did you get such an ill squad for this book?
I gotta give Diana credit for coming up with a killer concept. I mean, I love any concept that you can express in one sentence and somebody's either in or out.
Guys,
right? Like TODDLER-POCALYPSE. The worst thing about it. Yeah. Oh, and that's Joe Mulvey's cover. We're doing the first time I've ever done this is we're going to do a hardcover edition, a limited edition, 100 copies, hardcover edition of the book.
Wow.
And Joe's another guy that I've known for years and years and years. And I've watched him grind and put the time in and improve and keep such an incredibly positive, fun attitude throughout it all. And also he's a dad. He's got 2 amazing girls that I've got a chance to hang out with at like New York Comic Con. They're freaking adorable, and he, his family, the 4 of them together, you just watch and like, oh, that's a portrait right there. But he's also got a wicked sense of humor. So when we were looking to do a special cover, I was like, Joe, what do you think? And he's like, absolutely. So what you saw up there was the black and white cover.
Yeah,
and we're going to show off the coloring as the campaign goes along. I've become a sucker for pins. All the campaigns that I've done for the last like 4 years, I've put a pin along with it. And so this is Alex's aliens that we're calling the Gamonites.
I have a horrible thought here. I mean, this is like a 10-titty alien with 10 eyes.
So that I can't wait to see what this pin looks like in real life. I've seen the proof mock-up from the pin creator. And it looks great. And then one of the things I always like to do with my campaigns is, if this specific idea was the introduction to me, I love showing off some of the other stuff that I've done. And make my back catalog available. So all 4 of my other graphic novels are available in the campaign, along with the TODDLER-POCALYPSE.
Love it, bro.
Yeah, and then you get to go. One of the things I'm very invested in these days is like how can I help my collaborators get the next gig a little easier.
Yeah.
So you get to learn about everybody on the team. You get to learn about their background, and then more importantly, where to follow them, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, their websites. The idea is like, I've loved these people. These people have, the people I've had a chance to work with before, I'm working with again for a very specific reason. Not only are they talented, they're really good people. And so I want to introduce them to you. A lot of them, like Jay is one of them. Ellie's one of them. I also want to say we originally were going to go black and white, and if the campaign went well, we would color it. We decided, screw it, we're going to color it. This is going to be a full color book when we launch. And so we got to add 4 more awesome creators: Leslie Atlansky, Andrew Crossley, Matthew Nickerson, and Ellie Wright. There are 4 colorists on it as well. And, again, people whose work, when they come across my Twitter feed, just make me stop, make me just shake my head because it's so gorgeous, and ticks that, remember that you want to work with them one of these days.
Love it. So this campaign has been running since the 25th.
Yeah, we got about 2.5 days into it.
Beautiful, man. Running through the 18th. Kickstarter funds March 7th. You got plans here to the printed on the 4th. Fulfillment in the U.S. by June. International by July. Yep. I mean, you have a plan. How important is that to you to show this to people? Like, this is the expectancy.
Very important. I absolutely 100% believe in Kickstarter as a platform for telling your story and finding stories that connect with you. This is my 7th project I've launched. I've backed over 330. Yeah.
Damn, over 300 backed.
So like I believe in this platform.
You're in it.
And which means I have also, been on the other side. I have been a customer 330 plus times. I know what campaigns have done to make me feel good about it. I know what campaigns have done that have turned me off. And transparency is huge. And it costs me nothing to let you know, hey, we do have a plan in place. When I launched this was the exception. Usually when I launch, I have the whole thing done, because I have been part of campaigns where they're like, once we fund, then we'll get to work. And that get to work can stretch out, can be scheduled for 6 months, but it's a 2-year process. And my whole thing is, especially me, I'm at the grinding level. The people that are my fans, I love to death. But I'm picking them up one at a time. So it's very important to me that if I am new to you as a creator and a business, this is a business. Kickstarter for me, it's not charity. I have created something I think is worthy of being breathed into the world. I think it is worth your time. I think it is worth your money. And I'm going to try and deliver the best experience. Looping it all the way back to the con tables. The time you're spending with me, I want to make you feel like you are respected, that I appreciate you checking my stuff out, that I appreciate you backing me. And the best way I can say thank you is to let you know what's up, what's the plan, the work we've gone into it, and just transparency along the way. This Kickstarter can be very forgiving, right? Like everybody over the last year or so has been dealing with supply chain stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And your backers understand that. They can understand, hey, life got lifey, give me 2 more weeks. Everybody has had plans blown up because life got lifey.
Oh yeah.
What kills it is if you try and hide. What kills it if you're just not honest. And if you kind of go in there feeling like you're winging it. So when I do put these things together, again, this is people's real money, so I respect that and I appreciate that. The best thing I can do is put together as solid a campaign as I can. So if on an emotional level, you're connecting with the story, I'm also going to make sure I'm taking care of your practical side as well. You know what you're going to get. You know when you're going to get it. And if something happens, I'm going to let you know.
I love it. Transparency from a creator, unlike most people. Like I've been contacting a certain creator for the past 10 years. Where the fuck's my book? And I
don't have 10 years, but there's one that's about 3 or 4 years. And the creator keeps like creating new stuff.
Yeah, right. But you keep waiting on purpose, right? Like me, you're stubborn, right? I don't want a fucking refund. You told me you're gonna get this done, so get that shit done. That's what I want.
Yeah. That's the closest. Yeah, that's the closest that I've gotten like really upset. It's when but you're still doing things.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about how you're doing X, Y, and Z, and I was like, wait.
And yet, why is this not in my mailbox yet?
Yeah. So, like I said, there is stuff that has been delayed, and you're like, hey, life happens.
You could understand delays, but at least you're a man ahead. Like you want to do the project and make sure it gets into people's hands. So thank you for being considerate of the people that actually back, your projects. That's actually big.
Yeah, and it's also a bit selfish as well. I love Kickstarter. I'm going to keep making stuff. I'm going to come back to Kickstarter. I'm going to let you know, hey, you back TODDLER-POCALYPSE. Here's the new thing.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that if I contact you, your first thought isn't, ugh. I want to give you a good experience. So you can come back and see the new thing I created. Also, I don't want to poison Kickstarter and the experience for some other creator down the road. I don't want to give somebody who's like, who for whatever reason, I'm their first experience on Kickstarter and I fuck it up to the point that they're like, well, I'm never, I tried Kickstarter once and that person completely screwed me. I'm not doing it again. Like, if part of me is supporting independent creators, if that's important to me, handling my shit is part of how I can support other creators.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense at all, or I'm just talking up my ass.
I agree. No, man, you're right, yo. I hear that. So, George, man, you've been fantastic. You were talking musician, and you're talking about the comic, and talking about teamwork, and talking about building something that matters, something that's important. In your journey, what's the greatest piece of advice you could give anyone that's also trying to step in and be creative like you?
Yeah. A couple. One, give yourself permission to fail. Especially if you're starting out. I always say, look at the first season of The Simpsons. Look at the 5th season of The Simpsons. They don't look like each other at all, but they started and they got better and they learned who they were and they learned how to do their jobs better. You don't get to season 5 if you don't go through season 1. So if you're an artist and you're drawing, keep drawing. Give yourself the grace to be bad we're just learning. We're all on a journey. Allow yourself to learn, because that drawing is going to pay dividends later. Like, if you're writing, just start writing, and finish.
Yeah.
Because then you've got something you can look back on. You can see what went right, what went wrong. You learn how to finish. And you can take all of that and put it into the next thing and make that a little better than the first thing. Because now the third thing is going to be a little better. So I mean, beyond just like, if there's a part of you that wants to create any piece of art, please do.
Yep.
The next thing is like, and then give yourself permission to not be perfect. I mean, God, I remember listening, again, we're aging ourselves, but listening to Eddie Van Halen and going like, my God, look at him. Like, look at him. It's so easy.
Yeah.
And then you pick up a guitar and like, oh, no. He made it look easy because he put in all the time.
The work.
He didn't record his first day with a guitar because it would sound like cats dying.
Yeah.
Everybody's first day on a musical instrument sounds like a cat being strangled.
They ain't lying.
We're just seeing the finished product. We're seeing the finished product of somebody who didn't stop.
Yep.
And the only way you get there is don't stop.
I love it, yo. And folks, if you ain't inspired by this shit, I don't know what even to tell you. Because that's the truth. I mean, I haven't stopped. This part of rock won't stop. I keep rocking and rolling via Comic Crew and, via the podcast to make sure that I talk to amazing creators like you and just sharing this very experience, this very knowledge, this very inspiration that he's sharing here. It's like, he's been through it. He's telling you, he's sharing. So I hope you guys take that to the heart because it's real. So George, thank you. And just thank you for being a creator, not just as a comic creator, but then a musician too. So you're like, you could both. So thank you for giving me some cool comics. Thank you for giving me some great music to rock out to,
Thank you.
Oh, hopefully I'll be mosh pitting in a rock concert near you.
The new songs we're working on, you absolutely will.
Oh, don't worry, man. I'll make you still through some elbows. I ain't that old.
Nice. Nice.
So, brother, George, you rock. I'm glad that you're still like doing what you do, keeping in that multitasking level. I know a lot of ladies be talking about men can't multitask, but he's a perfect example. Look at homie, family man, music man, comic book man, day job. We could multitask. Stop that bullshit. All right.
It was important to me to continue to create while being the father my son deserves, while being the partner my wife deserves. It's not always easy. It's not always easy.
Not.
It can be very frustrating, but it's something that was very important to me. So I'll be damned if I let it fail. Yeah, and I'm lucky, man. Like, let's just. I'm very lucky. I've, my wife, Tracy, like without her, I'm not doing any of this, without her strength and understanding and humor and patience and her inspiring, me and supporting me. I'm not here without her, so there's a lot of work and there's some luck involved as well.
So shout out to Miss O'Connor over there, yo.
Hi, baby.
Salute to you.
Yes'm.
For supporting your man on that level, believing in him. Because, for real, as a married man as well, I know how important it is to have the support, love of your partner in any endeavor that you partake in. Because, you really don't give a shit who else approves. Because if your spouse don't, you really don't give a fuck who else does. It's like, that's who you want. Yeah. Everyone else. Thank you for the support. But when you get it from that side, it's like, really thank you for the support.
She is. She's my biggest endeavor, man. I don't want to let her down.
Yeah, this exactly because this is something real. This is a real endeavor. You take it serious and you're killing it, George. I'm proud of you. So just again, thank you for sharing in your creative journey with us as fans. Dude, you're killing it. So, folks, let me show this one last time before we go. All right. So, please visit the Kickstarter, which is live right now. All right. TODDLER-POCALYPSE. Believe you me, if you're a parent, you probably will appreciate the crap out of this. You're going to find the ultimate human behind this, but also if you're not a parent, you're going to love the wonderful art and storytelling behind this regardless, because like, you assembled like an arsenal right here. You got the Oni squad, and you got like the Black Ops of comics for yourself right here, like smashing this fantastic looking book. Please follow George on social. Right there on Twitter, Lazy Horde. It's so funny. He calls himself Lazy Horde, but my man is so. I'm telling you, change it to Busy Horde, please. Because, you're murdering. You're putting me to shame because I thought I was busy. Damn. And then check out his band's website right there, man. Swarm Advisor. You want to rock out? You want to fucking rock your head and throw up that was signed with that's the band right there that you got to rock out to right now. George, thank you so much again for your time. Bless you on your journey. And I know this book is going to get funded in no time. And then we're going to get more and more. So before we go, last question. Now, can we see you at any convention anytime soon? Do you have any plans to show up anywhere?
Yes. So Wicked Comic-Con is a new show in Boston happening in April. I apologize. I'm blanking on the dates. It's a one-day show in April that I'm very excited about doing.
Nice.
We'll be back at Fan Expo Boston for whatever, the 11th year straight or something like that. Terrificon, I believe that's July or August. Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Okay, it's frozen at the moment. And here we go. Yep. We're going to do a couple of cons. So, but it was great, as you saw.
Ew.
There you go. Thank you. All right. You were like that frozen. You scared me. All right. So you said Terrificon?
Yeah, Terrificon down in Connecticut.
Yep. Excellent. Anything else after that? Oh no, right now.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what the world allows to happen.
I know, man, because the year's already insane as it is.
Yeah.
So let's just hope that God willing things will get a little bit better. Yeah. So that way we could all once again connect, in person and not just over the interwebs. George, you've been a fantastic guest. Thank you again. And with that, folks, Miles tells you what to do. You know what to do. Later. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Wepa! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.